Let me introduce myself. My name is Pavel Korolев, Vice President for Development and Projects of the Global Energy Association. So, nice to meet you. And in the very beginning, I want to ask you, just to correct me, if I pronounce it in the right way, Ioana Ionel, right?
Yes, it's okay. Yes.
Great, great. So we can start if you're ready.
Much better than expected, because normally they are saying Joanna or.
Well, with my name, it's the same, because usually
Yes.
I'm not Pavel, but Pavel in English.
Yes, we also have Pavel in Romanian.
So let's begin.
Okay, you are registering, as I see.
Yes, yes.
I want to tell you that my university is Politehnica with A, Politehnica. And
Not Polytechnic.
no, Politehnica, and not with, it is POL English, Politehnica.
Okay, with E, not Y.
Yes, yes, and A at the end.
And A in the end. Okay,
Yes.
we will correct this. So, we can start, yes?
Yes.
Great. My today's interlocutor, Professor Ioana Ionel, is the head of research center in Polytechnica, University of Timisoara. The topic of electrochemical energy storage is now a real global trend that found its reflection as a chapter in our book of 10 breakthrough ideas in energy for the next 10 years. Professor Ionel, why it is so?
The answer is quite simple, because we have to invest in clean energy transition. A
Great.
successful transformation of the electricity sector uh, might be supported by economic development, but first of all, of energy security and, as I told you, energy transition. So, electrochemical energy storage is a method used to store electricity under a chemical form. The main scopes is to limit the losses and to make efforts for building rechargeable electrochemical systems, and not at least to create super capacities, mainly big sources that are able to be used not for, let's say, smartphones and tablets and so on, but also for electric cars, for big batteries for homes, for hospitals, and so on. The problem is that the um, uh, energy storage is not yet solved uh, when one is using renewable energy, mainly the energy that is time and weather depending. So the batteries might be developed in such a form to assure a long-term energy storage, uh, but it might they might be create uh, as a first step to a carbon-free energy future.
Great, thank you. Then, next question. Energy storage is often considered a rival to conventional sources because of its going hand in hand with the renewables while taking them to another level. So, what are the prospects of such competition, in your opinion?
I cannot say it is a competition. Energy storage is needed. If it is electrochemical or if it is a thermal energy storage or pumped hydroelectric or I don't know, compressed air, uh, electricity is needed, and electricity must be there when it is needed and in a secure form. So I cannot see that there is a competition because each system has its benefits. Uh, the combination with renewable system is a solution. I see such a solution for the batteries of the future. But in the same time, uh, one has to accelerate the innovation of materials. Uh, Also, a digital transformation must occur, and the whole future of the storage must be redesigned or developed because presently it not exist in a needed form.
Mhm. Material studies have significantly varied the energy storage sphere in terms of using various kinds of materials and their combinations in accumulators. Moreover, we already use different types of batteries in various spheres of life. For example, we have lithium ion and lithium polymer accumulators in our cell phones, lithium titanate ones in electric cars, and renewable energy sphere, and so on. So, what, in your opinion, will be the battery of the future?
Electric storage futures are placed presently in the second place on the list of top critical uncertainties keeping ministers and energy experts awake and studying for future performance. The role of electric storage is to secure the supply of electricity and to allow the shift from fossil fuels to renewable energy. The battery have limitation, and all these limitations must be presently uh, de- solved by new materials. The um, lithium ion and lithium polymer accumulators uh, are, of course, the present and must be developed in the future. So I think uh, to improve their high energy density and step for a long cycle life uh, would be necessary. Lithium ion batteries have shown up to now a great potential, uh, but they are not yet economically available in or and they are not uh, found up to now in large application. So for large application, for assuring the energy transport and
Mhm.
energy delivery, they are not still developed. But I think that we can have in the future significant benefits uh, for this one. Of course, new materials, new electrode materials might be used. Electrodes with higher rate capacity, let's say higher charge capacity, higher voltage, power density,
Hmm.
uh, and of course, the systems, the batteries might turn into smaller one, and what is very important, cheaper one. So presently, an insufficient electrical conductivity is shown for all the mentioned batteries, and this might be solved. Uh, so we have a perspective, a nice perspective, uh, and open. The research is open to whatever uh, we can imagine at this moment. The lithium titan ones in electric cars
Hmm.
uh, are uh, also in developing phase, but what I can say that presently they are created with a lot of energy consumed and a lot of CO2 is invested in them. Thus, it is very important to take into consideration not only the benefits but also the environmental uh, damages created during the production of such batteries. Uh, and this is not only for these mentioned lithium titan batteries, but for all batteries in general. So in the future, in order to turn these batteries into a real support for the transition to CO2 lean or even CO2 zero based energy, uh, one has to develop sustainable energy sources and with them to create the batteries, because up to now the batteries are created with standard fossil fueled energy sources.
True. So, my next question, when speaking about electrochemistry, we should always remember the environmental issues that may cause. Despite the fact that energy storage is more renewables related, we know that production of graphene, for instance, may not always be considered eco-friendly, not to mention the disposal problem of accumulators in general. In this regard, what are the possible ways out?
So I see a possible solution to adapt the production to circular economy. The reuse of materials in the moment that the batteries are not functional anymore uh, is essential. So, or even presently, we are not able to reuse some materials with a state of art knowledge. I propose to safe deposit them, and who knows what will offer us the future. Research and researcher are developing uh, and very quickly. So it is for sure, on my opinion, that the method for reuse most of the materials uh, in that are presently uh, used for such batteries and energy accumulators in energy can be the solution.
Thank
So,
you, Professor.
circular economy, reuse of materials, safe deposit. This is, uh, on my opinion, a possible way out.
Thank you. Um, and last question. How efficient may the future accumulators become? Will we one day be able to send small boxes like, I don't know, modern power banks containing hundreds of megawatts or even gigawatts of energy to remote regions of Africa, for example, to help them solve their electricity crisis?
Uh, we can dream about this, but first of all, uh, I think before going so far to Africa or other countries, first of all, let's say we have to secure all the systems in all countries that are offering health and educational public education.
Mhm.
So it is very important that hospitals all over the world have continuous electricity, and in all strategic sectors we must improve the energy delivery. We cannot have shutdown or blackout of the energy systems. And of course, all developing countries must be supported, but the support must be created in licensing and, of course, in investing in such countries. I can dream that in cosmos we will have batteries flying that will assure, when needed, the electricity wherever it is needed. So I think the future energy sources are presently only at the beginning, and whatever progress will be made, let's say for automotive engines or for coupling batteries with renewable energies, all kind of batteries will be will be needed and turned into much um, more disposable dynamic accumulators. Uh, the efficiency is presently a little bit limited, but for sure, the next future, the near future, will solve and offer us new schemes to preserve the present uh, characteristics of the uh, 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 accumulators. And I think of so-called dynamic accumulators that must be used in all kind of situation. On my opinion, uh, the batteries of the future must be very efficient. They must be online when needed. They must be, let's say, seen as a human source for future developing. We cannot say that battery developed uh, for a good scope must remain used only by a limited area of or population.
Mhm.
Whatever it is developed must be put, of course, in an economic form uh, to a large branch of users.
Thank you,
So
Professor.
global use of the batteries is very, very important.
Thank you very much. So that's it. My pleasure. And please take care at this really hard, difficult time.